All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Chaos Zero Nightmare video. Today, we're going to be talking about this little monster right here, Veronica, and her little friend Ratatouille at the top there. Sir Kowalski, the legend himself, Kowalski. I love that little guy. Anyways, we got to talk about Veronica because she's an absolute beast, and I think she has one of the most busted mechanics in the game currently with the Ballista card. Being able to attack every single turn, no matter what, is insane, and you can get different Ballista cards. Anyways, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Veronica. We're going to break her down, do a simple guide. So I do hope you enjoyed today's video and get some value from it. If you do, drop a like, sub if you're new, join the FBG fam. I would love to have you stick around. Of course, we're going to be covering CZN extensively here on the channel. That's no secret at this point. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So she's a ranger unit. She is of the passion attribute. She hits incredibly hard. She snipes enemies. She's really strong in my opinion. TB, you can see it right there. I do want to go back in and get some good cards or a better deck. But the deck that I have put together for her, I think, is strong at the moment. And we're going to go over that here in just a second. Before we do, I do have to put a disclaimer out there, though. I do have her E2. Now, I played with her extensively at just base. And I think she's still incredibly strong at base because of that mechanic that she has is so strong. But the E2 obviously is going to make her better. I have to put that out there as a disclaimer. It is going to make her better because the first one, bombardment prep cards reload is increased by 2. Reload is what allows your Ballista card to hit for more damage, which once again, the Ballista card, that is where her whole gameplay is centered around. That's the bread and butter of her gameplay for Veronica is the Ballista. So this is a really good E1, and you can see the card right here. So now it's a 3 reload, so it's very strong. Very strong because once again, Ballista, it's going to hit harder. Now, the E2 is solid as well in my opinion. Whenever an ally uses a targeting attack card, apply 1 floral scent to the target. The floral scent is going to provide an additional 20% damage taken from Ballista. So the enemies you hit with the Ballista card is going to do 20% more damage. And then this monster becomes a Ballista activation target. Essentially, the Ballista card is going to target that monster or that enemy if they have the floral scent on them. So I think this is a very strong E2. I think it's solid. Combined with the E1, very good, right? It makes Veronica incredibly strong, even though she's strong on her own. Once again, I have to reiterate, base Veronica is very strong. The E2 obviously is going to make her a lot better. Moving over to potentials, I think she has some good potentials as well. For the first one, add to rapid fire card effect, 20% chance to create 1 random Ballista card in hand. This comes in very clutch. Now, the rapid fire is her basic attack card, so now not only is it going to do damage, but it's going to give you a 20% chance to create 1 Ballista card. 20% may seem low, but once again, this has come in clutch for me more than not. And so I think it's a very nice little extra additive to a basic card that you're going to be using from time to time anyways, right? Now, moving on from there, we do have this potential here, plus 5% damage for Veronica's rapid fire. So now, not only are you getting 20% chance to get a Ballista card, now you're doing more damage with it. And then if Veronica's attack is greater than 500, an additional 5% to that value. So now that rapid fire card becomes even more valuable because you're adding to it. And then for the last one, if Veronica's attack is greater than 700, 5% Ballista shot damage for every 40 attack exceeding that value, plus 1% up to an additional 10%. Now your Ballista shots are going to be doing even more damage. Pair that with the E2 or the E1 and the E2. Now you can see we're pumping out tons of damage. We're already pumping out damage without all these things. Now we're really pumping out damage. So she is a 1-shot, 1-kill, true sniper, which is very unique. I love that aspect about her. I mean, Selena's there that snipes as well, but nobody snipes like Veronica and Sir Kowalski there to help her out. Anyways, moving on to the partner that I have on her, it is Rosaria. And I'm sorry if I'm kind of all over the place. I feel as if this is the best way to go ahead and break her down. I do have Rosaria on her. It's pretty decent, right? An additional attack damage is increased by 10%. When the assigned combatant uses an upgrade or skill card, 25% chance to gain morale for 1 turn. Pretty good, right? And then the ego skill, draw 1 enhanced card. If there are no enhanced card in the draw pile, draw 1. So we're able to just go ahead and draw some more cards. So pretty decent right here, right? In terms of partners, I really don't have any like solid good partners. I don't have any 5-star partners. I'm working with a bunch of 4 stars and 3 stars. Anyways, moving over to the save data, here is my deck currently. Once again, I want to go back in to try and tweak this, but I mean, for base or for what I have right now, I'm not gonna lie, I think this is actually pretty solid. It's very synergistic, it's very smooth, it's comfy, it works really well for me. Here are the equipment that I have on her, just in case you're wondering what this is. Starlit Cloak, minus 10% damage for 1 turn. We talked about the rapid fire card. We do have Repose, which is a skill, 106% shield, and then draws 2 guards from other combatants. So the team that you put her in is, they're going to benefit from this. And then we talked about the bombardment prep, this upgrade. We're going to get 3 reloads, which is going to once again enhance your ballista card damage. And then this one right here is the creme de la creme. Once again, this is where all of her gameplay centered around, and it has the outbreak of war, where this is going to place this card on the top of the draw pile at the start of the battle. So you're going to get this frame 1, turn 1, and so you're going to start out the gates incredibly strong and start out the gates doing what Veronica wants to do. Solid, right? Firing preparation, create 1. Now I went with piercing ballista. I believe when I was getting this, you had a decision to make between the ballista cards. There are several different ones that you can choose from. We'll go over that here in just a second. I went with the piercing because at the end of the turn, 159% piercing damage to a random enemy. If the target has shield, 50% damage. It just does more damage to shield enemies. And what I've noticed is that as we start to head more towards the end game and the harder bosses, they just generate tons and tons of shields, and it's hard to break through it. So this piercing ballista is very nice for that. So we're gonna get 1 ballista at the start of turn, create a piercing ballista, and then we're gonna reduce the cost of this card by 1, so it's a 0 cost. Very solid in my opinion. Love it. And then we have the Pendant of Resolution. This is solid because of the upgrade card. When using a skill card, 1 reload, 1 morale, 1 resolve. We get everything, right? And just in case you don't know what they are, morale 20% damage, resolve shield gain 20%, and then the reload is 50% ballista damage, and then you remove the reload at the turn and max at 3 sacks. So that's why that other one that we talked about, the bombardment's really nice because you get 3 reloads, and then your ballista cards are able to do more damage. But going back to the ballista cards, here are the different ones that you can get. And this is what's really cool about Veronica, because you can have one person with Veronica that is completely different than another player's Veronica on a different account, if that makes sense. Because like, for example, I have piercing ballista, but somebody can have the giant ballista, which is able to do damage to all enemies. It's AoE. Or somebody can have shelling ballista at the end of turn, 64% times 2 extra attack to random enemies. Enhanced ballista is going to do the percent damage extra attack to a random enemy plus 30% crit chance, right? And then the micro ballista at the end of turn, 42% extra attack to a random enemy. That's the micro ballista. So here are all the different ballista cards. Once again, I like the piercing one because of the shield, but all of these I think have their place, and I think all of these are solid choices. And with the deck that I have, there's a chance that I get the piercing ballista, or not a chance, it's guaranteed that I'm going to get the piercing ballista, excuse me. But then when I use the rapid fire, there's a chance that I get, like, for example, shelling ballista. I think in the gameplay that actually happens, and hopefully I'll have that in the background for you guys. So you can get the different ballista cards randomly, which is pretty nice, right? Actually really nice, and I think really cool. So that is the Pendant of Resolution. And then we got the man, the myth, the legend, Sir Kowalski. I did have this epiphany. Draw 2 when drawing a skill card, create 1 ballista, reduce the cost of this card by 1, so it's now a 0 cost. Super nice. We're going to be drawing 2. If we draw a skill card, we're going to create 1 ballista. Very solid card right here. I love this one. Sir Kowalski is the legend, and he's amazing. And then we just have 104% shield. So once again, Veronica, her whole gameplay is going to be centered around getting ballista cards, preferably more than 1, and then getting max reloads, at least 3, hopefully 4, right? So that way when your turn is done, you are popping off ballistas, so you're doing damage during your turn and then after your turn. And the ballista cards can do massive amount of damage, and it comes in clutch when you don't have any more attack cards, but you still have the ballista cards in hand ready to fire off. It has come in handy more times than I can count, in terms of, you know, I'm at the very end, I'm at the last boss, they're about to kill me, we pop off 2 ballistas with like 3 reloads, and boom, the enemy's done. If I didn't have Veronica, I would have been cooked, right? So Veronica has saved me more times than I can count, and I think she's an amazing combatant, one that I think some people may overlook, but I don't think they should, especially if you have her, build her up. She's going to perform beautifully for you, and I think she's going to hold her value long term because of that mechanic alone. It's very unique, it's very strong. But anyways, in terms of teams, I think there's many different teams she can fit on. I think she's fairly universal in that aspect, but to be quite honest with you, like a mono passion team is going to be fantastic with her, Mei Lin, who's able to provide passion weakness, and like somebody like Maribel, for example, to provide the shields, I think it's going to be very good. Or you can do Mei Lin, Veronica, and you could do Mika. Obviously Mika fits on every single team at this point. I think that's a very solid team. I use her with Lucas. Once again, I use Lucas a lot, but I like to use her with Lucas because Lucas has that AoE weakness, able to generate a bunch of bullets, provide a bunch of debuffs, able to do a bunch of extra attack, and then that allows Veronica to follow up with the ballistas and then kind of wipe the enemies, right? Wipe the team. So very nice because we have more of a single target in Veronica and then more of a AoE with Lucas. So they're very complementary in that opinion. Obviously you can pair with somebody like Cassius, who's going to be able to provide those cards. You'll be able to get them and then be able to use them. Also Khaleep is going to be a very good teammate with her, just because Khaleep is just very good with everybody. Also another one, Nia is going to be a good one. Selena is actually going to be pretty good as well. Selena with the AoE weakness, once again, passion, that mono passion team is going to be pretty solid. Veronica, Maribel, and Selena, that's going to be a solid team. Or Mika instead of Maribel, whatever you prefer. Very good, right? All very good. I think Amir's pretty solid with her as well for the shields and the sub DPSing. So she has a lot of options. A sneaky good one as well is Trissa, because Trissa could provide all those DOTs, pop all the DOTs, and then pop the ballista, and you're doing a bunch of damage after turn, which is really nice in my opinion. Works out really well. So I think Tressa is a very good teammate. But once again, you can put Veronica with pretty much anybody because Veronica has that passive attack damage, and that alone fits with any team. Anytime you can do passive damage where you don't necessarily need a card to use, it's just gonna happen automatically. I think that fits on any team. Essentially, you just want to make sure you have some type of shielder or some type of healer, or some type of buffer, right? And then you can place her on any team and it's gonna pretty much work. I think the only one it might not work with is Rin, and that's just because Rin is a selfish DPS. She wants to be hyper carried and do all the damage herself. So essentially that's about it. But like anybody else she could really work with. I mean, even Owen, for example, because of the attribute synergy. But anyways, I think Veronica's incredible. I think she's a very, very strong standard 5-star. And once again, it's just all centered around that ballista. I think that ballista is insane. I think it's a cracked mechanic, and I think she cooks. I think she absolutely cooks. So anyways, oh, and for the memory fragments, just to throw this out here, I'm still working on this obviously, but I think in terms of what you would want to put together for, I think obviously the 4-piece fashion is going to be good when using an upgraded card. The next 5 cards used get plus 15% passion card damage. I think this is pretty decent, right? Another one that you can do is like the 2-piece, this one right here for 25% crit damage. There's another one as well. I don't have all of them pulled up, but there's another one I think that for the 2-piece provides 12% attack. You can certainly use that one as well. I think it's just a preference on what you have on your account currently, right? But for me, oh, here it is, the 12% attack. But for me, memory fragments I'm still working on. I'm still trying to level up. I'm behind in terms of being leveled when it comes to my account, but I'm trying to catch up to everybody else. It's just the work days are crazy. But anyways, that is Veronica. I hope you enjoyed today's video and got some value from it. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. If you have Veronica, let me know how you've been enjoying her. Let me know your thoughts about her, and I'll see you all in the next one. Remember to stand out, be different, have fun, go further beyond in everything that you do. My name's Cody. Call me further. I'll see you all next one. Bye, guys.